going on, guys? Angelo here. Welcome to the Let's Talk About That podcast. Today, I have a special guest with me. I actually was just on their podcast, and he runs Theme Park ERT. Welcome, the ambassador. How you been, man?
Hey, what's good, Angelo? I've been good. Thank you so much for inviting me onto your show.
Thanks for letting me on yours. How you been during the quarantine, man?
The quarantine's been good. There's things that are frustrating about it, but being out here in California, like John and I are.
Yeah.
John also, just a quick shout out.
Mhm.
He's also part of Theme Park ERT. He's probably going to join us a little bit later. He
Yeah.
may pop up. He may not. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
see.
see, guys. We'll see.
We're both busy. We're keeping busy. That's
Mhm.
what's going on. No, but as far as quarantine goes, we've been able to spend more time with my family, and
Yeah.
I've been able to get some home improvement projects done. I put in a whole brand new floor,
Oh my gosh.
rebuilt my fireplace, and
Wow. Are you
but
looking
yeah,
to like renovate it to like move out of it and like sell it, or are you just like renovating just for the future?
no, no, it's just things that have bothered me ever since
Mm-hmm.
we've moved in. You got those little things that you're like,
Yep.
oh,
Mm-hmm.
you keep pushing it off till tomorrow, and
Yep.
it's like quarantine happened, and then my work kind of slowed down a little bit, and I was like, well, there's no excuse. But yeah, I mean, it's been interesting. I mean, it's kind of, I think the thing that stinks about it,
Mm-hmm.
is that I can just lean just like this and look out my window and I can see Magic Mountain.
What?
You go,
You're
but
like, how close are you to Magic Mountain actually?
about 7 minutes.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I'm
very close.
15 minutes from Kings of Me, and so man, you're beating me. That's crazy.
No, it's all good. I mean, there's always going to be someone who lives like 30
Mm-hmm.
seconds closer. So, there's always that person out there. But
Well, for today, guys, we're going to be talking about them, or we're going to be talking about his podcast a little bit. And if John actually joins us, we're going to definitely try to talk to him a little bit. And if we don't get him on, we'll definitely try to get him on another episode for sure, guys, because I want you guys to know about both of them. So, but on the agenda today, we're going to be talking about like their favorite coaster, how they got it started and whatnot. So I hope you guys enjoy. To get right into it, man, how did you guys come up with the podcast? Like, how did that all
right.
start?
Yeah, it's an interesting story. So, I started kind of getting into watching the YouTube
Mm-hmm.
enthusiast channels a little over 2 years ago. I've been an enthusiast for a while, but not like super active in the
Oh,
community.
okay.
Like I wasn't on forums or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. I mean, I would occasionally go into IMDb, or not
Oh
IMDb,
yeah, yeah.
RCDB.
RCDV,
Yeah,
yeah.
RCDB, and and I've been to a bunch of different parks, but as far as the community goes, not really. So it was with the building of Hang Time, which was down in
Oh
Knott's
yeah,
Berry
yeah, yeah.
Farm. I was curious about it, so I started kind of looking for it, and I came
Mhm.
across a channel called Parks Bros, which is
Yeah.
Drew.
Mhm.
Shout out to Drew at Parks Bros, Drew and Hunter actually, and I kind of like liked what they were doing, so I was
Mhm.
watching a little bit more, and then he started coming up to Magic Mountain to do whatever this new crazy coaster was going to be, which ended up being West Coast Racers.
Right.
And I'm watching his podcast, or I'm sorry, his show,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Oh, look at these markers on the ground. Look at these markers." And he missed like, and I was going to Magic Mountain like almost
Yeah.
3 times a week with my little son, and I'm like, "Yo, you've missed like 20 markers." Like he walked right by some and didn't acknowledge them. So I
Oh
sent
my
him an
gosh.
email and said, "Hey, Drew, I know you don't know me, but I'm a fan of your channel. Uh, I can film some updates for you. I don't need any credit, but just because he actually doesn't live very close to Magic Mountain. He's about
Mhm.
an hour away.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah.
I was like, I'd be happy to film these to you, send you the footage. You don't have to use my name, whatever." And he was like, "Oh, that's super cool." And through that, I became friends with Drew,
Oh
and I was
wow.
doing most of his West Coast Racers updates. So here's a little secret:
I was about to
most
say also that's who was
Racers
getting those
updates
shots and whatnot.
was shot by me. But then,
Wow.
I still work full time. I know, like you do as well.
Mhm.
I work in the television industry, so
Oh
uh,
nice.
I had gotten a full time gig that was taking a lot of my time, so I couldn't do
Mhm.
updates as much. But John was also a fan
Oh
of
okay.
Drew's channel, so then John kind of filled in where I couldn't, and I'd only knew
Mhm.
John through Parks Bros Discord server. We
Oh
kind of
okay.
knew each other through
Yeah.
there, and then we finally had a meetup, and he was doing all the like the later end
Mhm.
stuff. He was doing a lot of the footage, and then we kind of did a meetup, and he and I just started talking, and I'd actually then through this whole thing kind of was trying to think of a show,
Oh
that
okay.
would be unique,
Yeah.
something that would because there's so many good channels out there,
Yeah.
and just starting fresh, it'd be kind of
Mhm.
hard
Trying
to
to
try
figure
to
out something new to do. It's like, are you gonna do updates or
right.
POVs? You got it's like really three main things. Like I said, it's usually updates, POVs, and then you have like the actual
Vlogs. Yeah.
historic, like defunct, or they're talking about like
Right.
the older stuff. So yeah.
And there's so many that are so good. It's like,
Hmm.
why compete? You know, it's like,
Yeah.
it'd be tricky. So what happened is that I started doing some research and was noticing that in a lot of people's channels, their comment sections, a lot of
Hmm.
the fans were asking questions, like kind of personal questions, things like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'd go unanswered. And I get it. If you're like, Sean from Theme Park Worldwide and you have over 200,000
Right.
subscribers, it's going to be hard to try to get to
Hmm.
everyone. And I said, well, what if that was the show? What if I gave these YouTube channels who I'm a fan of an opportunity to hear questions that their fans wanting to know?
Right.
So it's like, and it just kind of started to like, the idea started to come up in my head. So I started to research to see if there was anything like that out there,
Hmm.
and I didn't see anything like that out there. You have a few podcasts that do exist, and some
Yeah.
good ones. Like the Chain Lift is really good. I also like
Hmm.
CoasterNet; those guys are awesome. But but as far as like talking about the individuals themselves,
Yeah.
wasn't out there. So I floated the idea through a couple of my famous neighbors. Here we go, ready for name drop. I became really good friends with Theme Park Obsession, Dylan.
Hmm.
Asked him about it. Good friends with my neighbor Chris from Airtime Thrills.
Yep.
Asked him about it, and Drew from Parks Frozen, and then Taylor Bybee. I was asking some of these guys what they thought about this, because
Hmm.
I guess I should say, through the meantime, I had met all these people
Oh wow.
and kind of became friends with them even before my
Hmm.
show started. So it was kind of nice to kind of already have that in my pocket once the show got started. I brought on John because John was getting a lot of great footage all the time,
Oh,
and
okay.
he was like, "Yeah, I want to do a show too." And I said, "Well, let's collaborate. Let's come together, and let's create this show where we just interview
Hmm.
our favorite channels and just ask them questions and get to know them personally, kind of like what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're doing right now." Because I think that there's a market for that. I think
Hmm.
there's going to be people who will be interested in that, and I think that it'll also be unique enough to give
Yeah.
us some traction. And so he's like, "Cool, let's do it." And I was hesitant at first. I didn't really want to be the host of the show,
Yeah.
only because look, you young guys are like good looking and like vibrant, and I'm on the older side, but I just was a little bit worried about that. But the funny thing is John is actually the one that gave me the nickname the Ambassador, because
Oh wow.
when I'm at Magic Mountain all the time, I'm always acting like I'm looking for people who hold up a map and are like look lost, and I go, hey, can I help you find something?
Oh
He's
my
like, oh man,
gosh.
Park Ambassador over here. And so I just thought it kind of stuck, and it would be fun. So that I figured like I could be the ambassador introducing
Hmm.
viewers to these new YouTube channels that maybe they don't know, or maybe some that they do know, but let's go dive a little bit in depth. So we started back in October of 2019,
Oh wow. Okay.
and we got our first interview with, well, actually what we first started doing was West Coast Racers updates, because it was
Oh
kind of
okay.
right at the end.
Yeah.
And we were able to do the media day and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But then we were able to get Sean from Theme Park Worldwide as our first guest, which is like,
Nice.
talk about a good first guest.
Right. That's
But
really good.
it worked out really well. And since then we've had a bunch of fun people, including yourself. You
Yeah.
should go check it out. It's live now on our channel.
Hmm.
But it's been fun. I think that my favorite part about it is, these roundtables really that are part of our show, where we just bring all the enthusiasts
Yeah.
together, because normally we just wanted to do one-on-ones.
Right.
But the coronavirus really kind of made it to where I was like, hey, and John came up with the term ERT, meaning
Yeah.
enthusiast roundtable. Because ERT in the industry means a bunch of things.
Right. It's just early ride time, exclusive
Early
ride
ride time, exclusive
time.
ride time,
Yeah.
and we wanted it to mean a bunch of things. We wanted it to mean like enthusiasts, ride warriors, thrill seekers,
Okay.
engineers, ride ops, technicians,
Hmm.
and then we came up with a enthusiast roundtable as this way to
Nice.
just rally all the enthusiasts together during this time when all the parks were closed.
Yeah, I
And it
mean,
seems like it
it's
really
the
worked.
name worked really well too. Like I like how y'all did it, because it really is like it's like you have those multiple people, so it's like it just worked perfectly. Like and with everything that happened, it's like, oh wow, perfect. So
Yeah, no, and it's been great, because my favorite thing about the roundtables is just, my wife is my biggest critic. She watches all the shows, and she says that you should do this, you should stop doing that, and stuff like that. But she's like, it's kind of fun to watch just a whole bunch of coaster nerds get
Hmm.
together and just nerd out,
Yeah.
in the most endearing way that you can
Right.
say it. You know what I mean? And she just said there's something very intriguing about that. And I love you know, like when we had you on talking
Mhm.
about King's Dominion and Busch Gardens Williamsburg, because that's your
Yeah.
bread and butter. You know, it's like I'm not out there, so I don't
Right.
really have it, my finger
Exactly.
on the pulse. So it's really fun. At least that's what I like about it. Is just kind of talking to you, different people, different
Mhm.
guys, and you know,
Yeah.
finding out what's new.
For mines, I had started, what was it? When I hit 1,000 subs, I was like, oh, okay, I want to do something different for the channel. I was like, what if I just start a podcast? Because that's when it started getting kind of big. Everyone was like making one. Now, like everyone has one, but I decided to do it. And um, the first thing I did was how I got fired from King's Dominion. You guys can check out the video. It's really crazy. I worked at Flight of Fear. It's a whole thing. But basically, that's what I wanted to do. It really was supposed to be uh if it got big enough, it was gonna be like this, but I was gonna be with the people in like a studio and everything,
Yeah.
and I could just talk to them one on one right there. So hopefully I can still get to that point. I hope to get there one day. But yeah.
Well, I would love to be a guest on if
Yeah.
you ever get there, be there in person. I think it's,
Hmm.
and there's something about being in person. I mean, I'm grateful
Yeah.
for this technology that allows us to like connect
Right.
across the country and across the world, really. But there's nothing better than like having that one-on-one in person, um, you know, interaction. I
Yeah.
think where you can play off each other's like,
Right. The energy of that person and
yeah,
what they're about to say. Yeah.
right. And we've only, unfortunately, I've only had two in-person roundtables so
Yeah.
far. And then like the quarantine kind of happened. We just
Hmm.
figured it would be smarter not to. But
Right.
I can't wait. Same thing. I can't wait to. And you're probably welcome back to our table if you'd like to. But
Well, how did world did you get? What was your like? How did you get into your coasters? Like, when did that first start for you? Like, were you always into them as a kid or what?
yeah, no, that's a great question. I'm kind of a slow burn enthusiast. Where I grew up in actually Salt Lake City,
Oh
uh,
wow.
and so my home park was Lagoon,
Hmm.
and we would go to Lagoon at least once a year because my dad's work. They kind of had a Lagoon Day, and they could bring all the employees and their families
Yeah,
could
they do that for
go
Kings
for the day.
Dominion.
Yeah, yeah, and so that's where I got my first credit. My first credit was Puff the Little Fire Dragon. So
Yeah.
shout out to Puff
Oh
the
wow.
Little Fire Dragon, and you know, and I was actually one of these people that was absolutely terrified of roller coasters. Um, you know, I'm not really sure what it was, why there was a
Yeah.
fear, but it was for a long time. And so, you know, I actually didn't ride. You know, I was doing little key rides, and I would do flat rides and like stuff like that. But I didn't
Hmm.
really ride my first big roller coaster, which again was at Lagoon, until I was like, I think I was a, a sophomore, no,
Oh wow.
a freshman, a
Man.
freshman. And out in Utah, ninth grade is still in middle school. It's like the end of
Hmm.
middle school.
Yeah.
So I remember it was actually the first roller coaster I went on was it's called Roller Coaster at Lagoon. It's the wooden one. It's the most, you know, unique name ever.
Right.
And I went on it because there was a girl I had a crush on who asked me to go on it. I mean, sometimes that's all it takes. You know what I'm talking about. Sometimes that's all it takes. And
Oh
so I
man.
didn't want to let her down. So I went on and I was terrified. And then right after that, she wanted to, of course, go on to Colossus the Fire Dragon,
Oh
which
yeah.
is
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
Schwarzkopf Double Looper. And you know, I actually still have the picture of that.
Oh
I would
my
have to go for it,
gosh.
but you know, this was 19. Oh, I better should. Uh, I'm gonna date myself. It was in the 90s.
Oh
So
my gosh.
and so it's a kind of a really grainy, old looking picture. But
Hmm.
I'm like, you know, and I still didn't like roller coasters after that.
Yeah.
And like, you know, a lot of times people, it's like just that first coaster, and then you
Yeah.
know,
No.
you love
Sometimes
them.
you're like, no, I'm
Ah,
done.
slow burn. Like I when I went to Disneyland for the first time when I was in middle school,
Hmm.
I actually all right, embarrassing story, but I waited all the way to ride Space Mountain. I mean,
Oh my
long
god.
queue line, long queue line. I mean, we were next in line. I was like,
Oh
nope, I noped
wow.
out. I noped out. So
Yep, that's what so really quick, that is what I remember when I worked there. There were always people afraid to ride Flight of Fear. It was just like as soon as they
yeah,
saw the launch into straight darkness, they were like, "Where's the exit at?"
yeah. And I have a cool Flight of Fear
Mhm.
King's Dominion story. I'll tell you in just a minute.
Alright.
But as far as like finally getting into roller coasters, it was just I don't know. As I kind of got older, and I would go back to Lagoon some more.
Mhm.
And then I moved down to a southern Utah, a place called St. George, which is only about an hour and a half from, well, maybe 2 hours, depending how fast
Mhm.
you drive, from to Las Vegas. So then, like Las
Oh,
Vegas
wow.
became my home park, And
Nice.
those started opening up the different roller coasters there.
Hmm.
And High Roller I rode, and like Desperado I rode, and
Yeah.
Speed the Ride I rode, uh, and all those different coasters there. So that's when I really started getting into it. And I think it was also the group of friends I was with.
Hmm.
A lot of peer pressure kind of helped too. And it wasn't as scary as I used to
Yeah.
that I thought it was. And so those were the ones that I rode for a while. And then we did take some trips. When I was really young, we went to Kansas City and we went to
Oh,
Worlds of
nice.
Fun, but I don't think I rode anything. I think I rode flat rides. And then
Oh,
I did
wow.
go to King's Dominion in 2001.
Oh, wow.
Um,
That was hypersonic days. Oh,
yes, Hypersonic
man.
had just opened,
Yeah.
and I have family in Fairfax, Virginia,
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
they're like, you can either go to King's Dominion, which has this new ride that just opened, that's like this crazy launching coaster, or
Hmm.
I can't remember which one it was. Might have been a Six Flags park that may just opened, like a B&M Flyer, but I don't remember which one
Oh,
it was.
yes. It's, Six Flags America. It's called Batwing.
Yes,
Yeah.
those had both kind of opened around the same time,
Hmm.
and my uncle was like, which one do you want to ride? And like we all just voted for King's Dominion,
Right.
and I remember just fondly, right? I mean, I remember Volcano and just
Hmm.
loving Volcano. I remember Shockwave, and
Yeah.
Hypersonic was crazy. I mean, that was crazy. We waited so long, but I still
Yeah.
remember that ride. It was really fun.
What was that experience like, really quick? Because, like, I always like hearing the story for people who've ridden hypersonic. Everyone's just like, it was just so fast, and that was it.
Yeah, yeah, like because the queue line was cool because the queue line just kind of like went right
Oh, okay.
around it the entire time. So you're watching. I mean, there's never a time where you're not looking at it and just hearing the launch and hearing people's
Hmm.
screams and stuff like that. And so when you first got on it, and it had a Christmas tree light too, like the
Oh, yeah,
drivers.
yeah. Hmm.
Um, it, yeah, you were kind of freaked out a little bit, but I'll tell you when the launch happened, and then you're on the top hat. I mean, you're on the top hat just before you know
Yeah.
it. It was just like I just remember going, boy, that was smoother than I thought. And a lot of people call me crazy. A lot of people are like, no, that ride was so janky and it was so
Yeah.
rough. But my experience, because I only rode it once, because I think it was like a 5 hour wait.
Oh, wow.
Because it just opened. I think it just opened
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 days before we went.
Man.
So um, I just remember being really smooth, and it wasn't as scary as I thought it was. Now, speaking of Flight of Fear, I remember going right that same day going to ride Flight of Fear, and didn't know it was a launch coaster.
Yep.
And then you're watching it launch, but then I thought it was hilarious. I know a lot of people think it's lame, but this is my first time experiencing the fake out launch.
Oh,
Where the
yeah,
ride ops are like, all right,
three, two, one.
three,
All
you're gonna
clear.
do it on
No,
two or
no.
something like that, or like, oh shoot, the ride's broken. Sorry guys, can
Yep.
you just look up
That's
your,
yep.
and
That changed the whole experience. Like,
20 something year old me just thought that was hilarious,
hmm,
and I was like, you know, kind of prepared for that. So I remember
hmm,
sitting on it and like looking up at that little control booth
yeah,
window and just being like, I got you. I'm onto you. I'm onto you, So it was a lot of fun.
uh,
I actually had a really, really good time on that ride. So, yeah, I mean, that's how I got into I mean, and then kind of like Airtime Thrills, there was like a period of time where I
hmm,
just didn't really ride anything, mostly because I was working full time and never
yeah.
really travel anywhere. But it was when I finally moved, I moved to Southern California in 2005
Oh, wow.
for work, that my company actually purchased everybody Disneyland passes, which was a
Oh, snap.
perk of being there.
That's
And so I was
cool.
going there all the time. And then I was like, they also were doing this thing at Magic Mountain where it was like, you buy a day, you get the year free. The Six Flags
What?
Magic. Yeah, it was like like you buy a single day and then you get the rest of the year free.
Oh,
I
wow.
was like, yeah, let's do that. I mean, even though I live way, over an hour away,
Hmm.
I was going with my roommates, and
Right. It's worth
that
it.
was,
Like,
yeah, and that's right when like Tatsu was being built,
hmm.
and so I was able to write that. And I actually got to write X when that first opened too. I
Oh,
actually
wow.
flew down to write that. And
Wow.
yeah, so it's if you watch our shows, we do talk about Magic Mountain a lot, only because of geography. I'm
Hmm.
telling you, it's just because of where we are. I would like to travel more. I really haven't done very many park destinations yet because
Yeah.
I don't know. I work a lot, and it's just kind of
Yeah.
hard. And when I do take vacations, I take them with my family, and not everybody in my family wants to be able to go all the time. But
Hmm.
went to Cedar Point for the first time last year,
Oh,
for the first
nice.
time.
Same.
So that was
I
great.
should be going this year. I'll see. Hopefully everything works out though. So yeah.
It'll be your first time?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Still
it's great.
Vengeance. I'm just looking. I can't wait.
It's fun, and it's one of those parks that it's like as soon as you pull up and you can see it, the
Hmm.
skyline of it as you're pulling up is just kind of a magical. And then when you're walking in, if you're like me, you've seen so many POVs of
Hmm.
and vlogs from that park. You're walking around just going, okay, yeah, I'm actually here. This is crazy.
Right.
And it's fun. And actually, uh, like it just, I don't know, it just reiterated my passion
Yeah.
to do what we do. And I met so many enthusiasts there that I didn't realize that we're going to be
Hmm.
there. I met CoasterNet, Andy from CoasterNet. I met
Oh wow, nice.
Taylor Bybee just happened to be there. Like we didn't even know it. Like we hung out for a little bit because like he didn't know I was gonna be there. I didn't know he was gonna be there. But yeah, and like we're supposed to go to Kings Island this year,
Hmm.
but our vacation starts in a couple of days and they're
Are
not
they
open yet.
still not? Yeah.
Yeah, so
What's your
we're
thoughts?
gonna go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, what's your thoughts on like that? What do you think? Do you think people are gonna rush back to the park? Because I know they just almost all the parks now are like the big chains have like basically said what their reopening plans are. So what do you think on like that?
I think that there actually is going to be a rush. Like,
Hmm.
I've posed this question on my show before, and people, it's been pretty mixed. People are like, oh,
Hmm.
I think there's going to be some people still too afraid. They're going to like kind of dip their toe in, and it's going to be kind of low
Yeah.
crowds. But if you look at like places that have started opening up, like there've just been mad
Yeah.
rushes to these places. I think there's a lot of pent up excitement to just get out and do
Right.
things.
People just want to leave, go somewhere.
Yeah, and obviously we want to do it safe and not
Hmm.
be ridiculous, but I really do, especially now that the weather's getting nicer. I think there's just really this desire to be outside and to go
Yeah.
do stuff. So I don't think it's going to be like crazy crowds,
Hmm.
but I still think it's going to be bigger than we think. I think they're going to hit their. I know they're doing limited capacity and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
think they're going to hit those capacities every day.
Yeah, I'm thinking by fall, if it still if it doesn't spike or anything, and like they actually do the Halloween events and whatnot, yeah, they're probably gonna still hit capacity without a doubt. So,
Yeah, that's what I think. And it's another thing that's also that a lot of the enthusiasts kind of have to think about is that there are so many coasters that should have been opened by now,
oh yeah,
and some that will are still kind of planning on opening this year.
hmm,
So when things kind of finally all go back to normal, there's going to be just new
right.
ride,
I was
and
just thinking that I was like, man, like this is like the first time where like almost all the parks really are just opening at the same time for a new ride. Like if they actually
yeah,
open all these rides at the same time, like that's a crazy thing.
yeah, and so I, I think that there's going to be demand. I mean, we'll see. I'm actually going to my first theme park in a couple of days. I don't know
Oh,
when this is going to air, so maybe this is the past hello from the future or past or whatever. But we're actually going to Mount Olympus
oh,
um,
nice.
because Wisconsin has,
Yeah.
so like my trip was out to Chicago and we were going to do Six Flags Great America and then
Oh,
Kings
okay.
Island. But since neither of those are open, we're like, well, what should we
Yeah.
do? We just want to hang around Chicago. Then we heard about Wisconsin. I said, oh, let's go to a Mount Olympus and then some of the
Hmm.
other water parks that are there. And yes, we are going to be safe. We're not going to be drinking the water. But I'm excited because I've never been out there, and
Yeah.
I hope that all the coasters are open. At least Hades 360 and Cyclops I heard are really great. But
Yeah, I saw just I think her name is Elena Coaster Pics. Shout out to her, but she takes some really good photos on like Instagram. But she just had went there and like it wasn't packed at all. So hopefully it won't be packed when you go.
ooh, we'll see. I'm excited to like get back on a ride again and um just I don't know. It's just something that it'll be really fun. Like because we're
Hmm.
spoiled out here in California, and I know in
Right.
Florida as well. Like, we don't have seasons, so it's like
Right.
I don't have to sit there and wait all winter to finally ride something. So I know it's like poor me, right? I'm like, oh man, all y'all like have to wait for a long time, but
The first
you
time
know,
y'all actually have to wait to ride something is because of the coronavirus.
right.
Oh man.
But it'll be fun. I'm excited to go out there and hey, and if anybody's out in Wisconsin on again, I don't know when this is going to air, so
Right.
maybe I can date myself, but anybody there June 1st through June 3rd, come say hi if you see me. I'll be the one wearing a mask sometimes.
So
The one. Well, I'm not going to wear a mask on a water slide.
right.
That's just
What would you say like your top three parks are like that you really have always wanted to visit?
oh yeah. Yeah. Are we talking the world or the country or break it down
I
or
guess the world. Yeah.
world? Yeah, I would really like to go to probably mm, Nagashima Spa Land,
Oh, okay.
um, Fuji Q Highland,
Oh yeah.
uh, Yeah, probably Phantasialand.
Yeah,
And yes, it's Phantasialand, people. Let's pronounce things correctly.
Fantasia.
Um, and it's Taran. It's not Taran.
Yeah,
It's
Taran.
ta
Taran.
tar, like tar on the road, and then on Taran.
I say
Tar
Terry.
on tar. It's not Taran. It's Taran.
Oh my gosh.
It's all good. Some people say taco. Ooh, let's go get a delicious taco.
Oh my gosh.
But no, it's. I would say Phantasialand for sure. That looks really cool. Energylandia, I know that's more than three,
Yeah,
but
that's fun.
and in the U.S., I really want to get to Silver Dollar City. Like, I
Yes,
really want to get
Time
to Silver Dollar City.
Traveler and Outlaw Run. Oh my gosh.
Yes, I would love to get the Dollywood is another one that looks really just
Hmm.
quaint and nice. Kennywood, I mean,
Oh yeah, they're in
I,
Pennsylvania. I actually might be going up there hopefully for the first time. I want to check out Steel Curtain and Phantom's Revenge really bad. So,
yeah. I mean, these are things parks I've never been to yet, and
hmm
of course, Six Flags parks and Cedar Fair parks as well. I mean, Six Flags Great Adventure. You know, I'd like to get out there for
hmm
Jersey Devil and for King Ka and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah. Great
Well, El
Adventure
Toro,
is
obviously, El Toro.
awesome.
Holiday World. I want to get to Holiday World. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
Voyage.
Ah. So my top three are like every park ever.
All the major parks, basically. I'm
Yeah.
with you on that. Like, I haven't been to many. I don't know. Have you been to Carowinds yet or what?
No.
Oh man, yeah. You definitely got to
Mm-mm.
get out there.
I would like to get there too, but no. Like I've only been to a few parks on the East Coast. I've been
Hmm.
to Hershey Park, but again, that was when I was like, I don't know, I might have been seventh grade, so I didn't really ride anything.
Yeah.
I remember the chocolate tour, but I didn't ride any
Oh
coasters.
yeah.
And then King's Dominion.
Mm.
That's it.
Oh wow. That's
Yeah,
not
like
bad. I mean, I remember when I first started out, it was just I was going to Kings Dominion. I mean, I literally the park I was just focusing on Kings Dominion videos, kind of like how y'all focus on like Magic Mountain. But it was just like, hey, why not make videos of the park that I'm going to because not many people do it. So I'll do a video on everything about the park. And
yeah,
now that I've really done that, I'm like, I definitely want to experience more parks and whatnot. Well, I went to Carowinds and whatnot. So I want to go up north to get to like Cedar Point and Kings Island, hopefully. Um, I know Six Flags New England, that's a little bit far from me, but I would love to visit there too. So yeah.
yeah. You know, the only other the only other Six Flags park I've ever been to is Six Flags Great America in
Oh wow.
Chicago, and it's a great park. I mean,
Hmm.
I love all the. I haven't ridden Max Force yet. The last time I was there,
Yeah.
Max Force was, I think, 2 weeks out from opening. So I was
Oh
like,
man.
I just missed it. But that's a good park too. If you're out in the Cedar Point area and you hit Kings Island, obviously Kings Island and
Hmm.
Cedar Point at the same time, try to get out to Six Flags Great America because
Hmm.
it's a nice little
Yeah,
park.
Max Force, it looks good. Like everyone says the launch is like one of the best launches.
Yeah.
It's pretty forceful from what people say. So yeah. So what would you say was like your worst experience or like the worst ride that you've been on so far?
Oh, the worst ride I've ever been on. You know, it's kind of funny. Like it goes counterintuitive to what I was
Hmm.
saying earlier, like how I was afraid of roller coasters for such a long time. But like, oh, okay, no, I know the answer.
Hmm.
Because I was just gonna say, I don't complain about roller coasters. Like I've never had like, oh, the restraints are bad, or
Yeah.
oh, that's so rough. You know, it's a roller coaster. I mean, what did you want? If you wanted smooth sailing, you know, just I don't know, just go sit in a chair at like your furniture store or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? But no, I'll tell you the worst coaster, the most disappointing coaster is actually back at Lagoon.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and there's a roller coaster, and I might get a lot of hate for this. I think it's a Vekoma. It's called the Bat. It's a
I
suspended
think I know.
coaster,
Yeah.
and it's a family coaster.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I guess I was expecting it. I wasn't expecting a Batman clone or anything like that. But it was like it wasn't very fun.
Yeah.
Like it didn't hurt or anything like that. But it
Hmm.
was a long line, and it continuously had like one of the longest lines in the park. And you get on it, and you go up, and you come down, and it was just kind of like, to me, as I was writing, I pictured millions of dollars that they spent on this just
Right.
swirling the toilet bowl. Because I was like, this was the most boring thing I've ever done.
Yep.
And, you know, and I think that if you think about it now, like, oh, it's one of these transition coasters and la 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 la. I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, but still, they
But
should have
still.
done something. Because I've been on some family coasters that are absolutely phenomenal.
Mhm.
Speaking of Six Flags Great America again, Whizzer, it's an old Schwarzkopf
Oh yeah,
coaster,
yeah, yeah.
and it is awesome. and it's a family coaster, and it's fun. It's got speed. It's got little bank turns. So this one, the bat, I think it's
Yeah.
called, I don't know. They're gonna get into the comments. I'm sorry, I don't.
I'd
But
say for me, people always like, I don't know what people love about Nitro at Six Flags Great Adventure.
oh, you don't like that,
I
Joe?
Oh my, why? I don't know what is the deal. What's the hype about it? I'll give it, the colors are nice and all, but
The
I
colors are
wrote it.
nice.
I'm sitting here like, man, this is about to be 80 miles an hour hyper. I'm like, it can't be bad. Like it's hills on top of hills. How can it be no airtime?
Yeah.
We get on the ride, and it was like, okay, the first ride, I was like, maybe it's just because it's got to warm up. We rode
Uh,
this, we rode it at least like 5 times that day. And by nighttime, I was like, all right, this ride, it's just not for me. Like, I don't know
uh,
what it was. It's not a bad ride. It's just, it felt like it wasn't giving me anything that I wanted type of thing. So yeah.
I had the same experience in Millennium Force. I know
Mm-hmm.
that's really sacrilege to say, but like
Mm-hmm.
I was so stoked to ride that for the first time, and going up, looking around. I can't believe on the lift hill,
Yeah.
going to that first lift, it was so awesome. Going to that turnaround, so excited. Go to the first lift hill, and oh, okay, well you're still going fast. Woo, we're going fast. Next lift, next airtime hill, next airtime. Oh,
Yeah, I can't wait for
it
you
was fun.
to. I can't wait for you to ride like Intimidator 305, man.
Yes, it's the only coaster that scares me right now.
Super intense. It's a very intense ride, but
Yeah. I'll tell you, it scares me only because, with once I turned a certain age, and I won't tell you what age
mhm,
that was, I started to really have a hard time on roller coasters. Like I would just get like my equilibrium kind of gets all messed up,
mhm.
and I don't know if it's vertigo or what you call it. It got really bad. I have a story where I rode Tatsu over here at Magic Mountain. Oh, wait, wait.
Oh, we got
Whoa!
Jonathan in here.
Blaze can Blaze. He's
Can
connecting
you
his
see
audio.
it? Can you hear it? Oh, he's connecting audio. Hold on, guys. All right, now that Jonathan's in the house, guys, we are going to take a little quick break for you, really quick, and we'll
What
come
up?
back to you guys after that. Okay, guys, we are back, and now we got 3 people here. So,
Yay!
John, thanks for joining back in. This is the other part of Theme Park ERT. If you guys didn't know, he kind of does the controls and whatnot for like when they're actually recording. But thanks for joining us, man. How have you been?
For sure. Thanks, Angelo.
Mhm.
I've been great. Nothing, just working this morning. Sorry I was late.
Oh, you're good.
But I'm here now.
What would you say? How did you like get into coasters? Because I know everyone wants to know. They always ask me in the comments what these people's favorite coaster and whatnot is. But how did you get into coasters?
It was, I would have to say a combination of growing up, being brought to theme parks, but not so much like, Magic Mountain and
Hmm.
whatnot, but more like Disneyland and
Oh,
things like
okay.
that. But a combination of that and Roller Coaster Tycoon on my
Oh,
computer. So I would have, in my parents' house growing up, I had my room and then I'd have my closet, but in between the closet and the room, there was this
Mhm,
like little like nook, like kind of like space.
mhm.
And that's where I'd have my desk with my computer. And
Oh wow.
I had this room and this, closet, this whole house, but I'd always just be in this little nook on that computer playing Roller Coaster Tycoon for hours. So I'd
Wow.
have to say that's what got me into it. And then I draw a bunch of coaster, like,
Nice.
sit there designing, drawing coasters, buy a whole book, what are those books called, that you draw in, like a
Color
artist.
books?
There you go. So not a coloring book, but just a blank book.
oh,
Anyways,
Okay, like
yeah, a
okay,
a
sketchbook.
yeah,
notebook, a
sketchbook. Yeah.
sketchbook. So
Yeah.
so like a sketchbook, but every page would just be a roller coaster.
Oh wow,
You
that's
know,
crazy. I
yeah,
know when I was a kid, my mom and them or my parents got me like the Legoland game. It was like back when we still used CDs for like the
Yeah.
PC. It was a Legoland
yeah.
theme park, and you could create your own theme park. That was so cool to me at the time. So,
Yeah.
mhm.
That's
Word.
cool. That's cool. I think I did a connect the dots once.
Oh yeah.
That's like you created the beast. Hooray.
What would
Or
so?
the magic art where you scraped away the black and you'd have the rainbow color underneath. It'd be a
Mhm.
roller coaster. You know,
What would you guys say your most anticipated coaster for 2020 is? And we're talking about new ones, not the ones you're gonna ride, but like the new ones.
Oh, so new ones that are coming out, not ones that already
Hmm.
exist.
Yeah.
Ooh, go ahead, John. I think I already know your answer.
new, new ones that are coming out. I'm gonna have to say Pantheon.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah, I would probably say that.
It's like only an hour and a half away from me, and I'm just like sitting here just waiting, like just please open the park.
Right.
I'm
I'm
telling you,
coming
man.
to stay at your house.
Yeah, get your couch,
Get your
get a
couch
couch
ready.
or whatever.
Get some fresh sheets. I don't like to travel that far with sheets and like pillows and stuff. So like get some company pillows.
Airbnb it.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for Pantheon as well, only just because it's something different that's for the United States. I mean, of course, I'm excited for the New Jersey Devil Coaster as well, just because I love the Raptor model and it being the kind of like the upgraded version. Is something that's super exciting. And everybody also says Iron Gwazi, and of course Iron Gwazi. I mean, it's kind of goes out without saying. But I'm actually, I don't know if this makes me sound pretentious or not, but I'm pretty sure I know what it's going to feel like to ride that.
I think,
having been on so many RMCs,
I think that's what most people that tell me that have ridden a lot of RMCs, they're just like, they're not the same, but it's like, what you're probably going to get. It's like, it's going to be packed with airtime. You're going to get the inversions. But when it comes to like Jersey Devil, that whole layout's kind of a different thing now. And then same thing with Pantheon. It's just something we haven't even seen in the United States yet. So
something new, something new.
And I know everyone forgets about Candemonium, but that ride they're testing and it looks great. It's hauling. So
I'm excited for every single new coaster that's opening up, even the little spinning one at the Six Flags Discovery Kingdom.
Oh yeah. I thought they didn't that get extended, or like I thought they said they were supposed to like open it next year or something now. Like what?
I don't know. I don't know anything.
What's the other one I'm thinking of? Oh yeah, Emperor and
Emperor looks good.
The blue Orion.
Orion,
Orion. We got Orion too.
I forgot about.
I was supposed to be riding that next week.
Orion.
Yeah, Orion 287.
Look, I don't care if it's not technically.
Right.
287.
It's going to be a good ride.
Right.
It's going to be a good ride.
But I heard it's sub 13. So
I imagine it's gonna feel like a mini Fury, honestly. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun ride. It's like, because there are some true gigas that aren't all that great. So, and B&M, they do a good job, and they've got some of the new elements like that kind of their overbank is sort of new, and so I think it's gonna be good. Yeah.
I know. What's the Icebreaker? I think it's San Diego. Yeah, I don't even know if they're testing right now. I know they have like the training on track and everything, but that ride looks really good too. It's like they all look good, so I'm really excited.
I think somebody I was talking to thinks that's going to be the sleeper hit of 2020, the Icebreaker at SeaWorld, Florida. In Florida. Yeah, so.
I think it's San Diego.
No,
it's not San Diego. It's Florida.
Florida.
Is it SeaWorld? It's SeaWorld.
It can't be Orlando because I know Emperor is Orlando. So,
or is it Tampa? No, Emperor is in San Diego.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what.
You got them reversed. You got them mixed up.
Yeah.
And we can't forget about.
Assume that. I was gonna say I gotta assume that Icebreaker is testing at this point.
Yeah.
Compared to how West Coast racers went as far as when the train was on the track and you're doing the pull through. It's been weeks since I've seen that train on the track over there.
My guess is that because most of the construction that's non-essential did start back up a few weeks ago. So, and that's for like most states now that non-essential construction has started. So I'm guessing even for Pantheon, I'm pretty sure they've started working at least a little bit. So we haven't seen anything because really the park's not posting anything. That's not really our fault that we can't do anything about that. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I hope so, and as we were talking about earlier, I think if there's one silver lining to all of the kind of the delays, stuff like that, is that they're all going to open at the same time.
Right.
And I mean, what a time to be an enthusiast right now. We're going to be like maxing out our credit cards, unless the flights stay cheap, unless the flights stay relatively affordable. I mean, you're going to be able to just, knock out a lot of cool stuff.
I think the flights will stay cheap for a while.
Yeah. And I mean,
a lot of people are going to be driving if they can. Right about now.
And
Yeah.
even if the flights are like go up, it's like gas is still cheap. Like gas is like 159 right now where I'm at. So
Don't talk to me about that or
We don't talk
Mark.
to we don't talk to
I mean,
Californians about gas prices.
yeah, don't talk to. I
It's
mean,
almost
it's
it's almost
actually
$4
low.
here.
It's well,
what?
no, right now it's like
Oh my gosh.
270 over
Yeah.
here. It's
270? Oh,
270,
okay.
which is like the lowest it's been in like since I can remember, and it
I
actually down to
270.
235.
I don't
Yeah,
even think we got the
235.
two.
It went down to. I was like, "What's going on here? Is everything okay?" Like I started freaking out, like something's gonna happen. And
Yeah.
then now it's
Right.
going back up gradually.
Yeah.
It's a 275. Soon it's
The
gonna be
lowest we
over
got
three.
the lowest we got down here was 139.
Yeah.
And then it was like, all right, we're
What's the
picking back
highest
up.
you guys have?
The highest we've had maybe three something. And I know there was a time,
Oh
I think it was
man.
like '08, where like we went down to Florida and we were like $5 for gas. Hold up. So
Well,
Well,
that's what ours is normally
let me
around
tell
there.
you,
man,
all the
that's
people,
crazy.
all your European and UK viewers right now are going, "Oh, cry it's a river, you Americans!" It's like $8 a gallon over there. Like Europe is crazy. The gas prices,
Yeah.
but it's tricky because it's by liter. We're like,
Hmm.
"Oh, we're getting a great deal."
Right.
Do the math, people.
And I think the other reason too is because like there's not enough room, so it's just like just ride a bike. Like there's no reason to even drive because they're going to be in traffic. So
Right.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm really excited for all these ride stuff. What
mhm.
about you, Angelo? Let's throw it back to the
I
host.
would- I'd say me is definitely Jersey Devil and Pantheon. I know everyone's excited, like you said, for Iron Quasi, but it's just like I get it, it's going to be good, but I really
Be
want to
awesome.
ride Steel Vengeance more than that. So I'm really looking forward to Steel Vengeance even more than Iron Gwazi. Even though like Iron Gwazi is one up kind of Steel Vengeance a little bit, I would
Yeah.
rather ride Steel Vengeance. But me, yeah, Pantheon, I really want to ride it. I mean, yes, I'm close to it, but it's so unique and like the outward bank turn, the launching from like 0 to 70 and whatnot. I'm really excited. So,
I
It's
love
an
Intamin.
Intamin,
hmm
Yeah. I
you
love
know.
Intamin.
yeah, I haven't been on a new Intamin in a minute either. So,
Yeah, like I'll tell you what, like, and it's not that don't get the wrong idea, all you Angelo Giles viewers. We're not anti RMC. I love RMCs like
hmm
all day. Great, fantastic rides. But like when I went to Cedar Point for the first time last year, like I told you, um,
hmm
super excited for Steel Vengeance. You're looking at it; it's beautiful. I can't wait to ride it. Rode it, loved it, loved it. Then I got on Maverick, and I
Oh
actually
yeah,
left Cedar Point enjoying Maverick
that's what a lot of
more
people say.
than Steel Vengeance. I wouldn't say it's a better coaster. I
Hmm.
just think I came off of it going, that's unique.
Yeah.
It's something I hadn't experienced
Hmm.
before. So I think that's kind of what I look for in roller coasters is
Yeah.
something that's going to make me go, I have never experienced that. I mean, the
Yeah.
death roll will do that for sure. The death
Right.
roll will definitely be that. But you know what I mean? It's like I think just from start to finish, I'm super. I'm just
Hmm.
excited for the future of roller coaster
Yeah.
design. It's like so many
And
cool
I mean,
things.
we have the Axis coaster, and I know
Yeah,
people on like a Reddit feed or whatever, somebody was like, we could be getting like a single rail, like 4D coaster in the future or something. So it's like the possibilities are really endless because of the single rail concept now that RMC's done. It's like, man, like think about what we could do.
yeah.
Mhm.
Bring it on.
Okay, so what would you guys say? What do you guys want to do in the future for your channel? Like, where do you see yourself going for your else channel?
Go ahead, John.
Well, I honestly I think we want to get back to doing more updates
Hmm.
eventually, and obviously for more one-on-one interviews is like what we started with, and
Hmm.
our bread and butter for the channel. But we obviously want to cover all the new projects coming out as well.
Yeah.
Whatever is in the new future for I guess what 2021 now,
Yeah.
right? That's
Right.
what we'll be covering. So it'll be good to get back to that, just be in the parks, and I'm sure
Hmm.
there's going to be a lot more stuff to cover now that everything's
Right.
changed, and get to show people how
Yeah.
that new system works and whatnot in every park.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and still do more ERT podcasts.
Yeah.
Eventually, get back into our studio to where we
Hmm.
can
Right.
have everything set up
Oh
properly the
yeah.
way we want it, instead of just doing Zoom
Hmm.
or Skype or whatever we do as of now. So
Yeah,
I'm just excited to get back, pretty much. What do you think, Ambassador?
yeah. No, I agree with that. I mean, he hit the nail on the head. we wanted to start mixing it up a little bit more. Like, I was saying at the beginning of the video, we were covering West Coast racers, and that's really just because of geography, and we were super close. And, we got good relations with Magic Mountain now. And I think that's only does our channel a service, and also does the fans a service, and also does Six Flags a service, as we're growing, just to help them out. And so, we want to get in, and I'm a little bit nervous about the reservations that, because I want to be able to just go on a whim like we used to be able to do before, so I can get like through our little birds that tell us things. I want to be able to run over there and get some sort of update, like, hey, tracks just arrived, or do you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I want to get back to the updates of whatever this new project for Magic Mountain will be, the 2021 project that we saw markers for around the old Green Lantern roller coaster. And then, the one-on-ones, and with the parks opening up, it'll be great, because that's where we want to do our one-on-one interviews is
in the park,
on locations.
That's smart,
because I just think that is an environment. So, for example, when we come out to Virginia to do a one-on-one with you, Angelo, we'd love to be at King's Dominion, maybe in front of Flight of Fear as the backdrop. You know what I'm saying? It's like
that'd be really cool.
It's personal to you.
The same thing, like, if I don't get if I don't have a studio, like you said, the easiest way is really just do it when the person's there, and that way, like, they can go about their day. So right,
and I would like to start doing that more. And like, John and I will try. We've been playing that Mega Millions to try to win some money. But, it would be great to be able to fly out to places to interview people, and also have people who come out to Magic Mountain, come. Hey, if you're at Magic Mountain, just swing 7 minutes this way to our studio, and so we can get an interview. That's what I'd like to do in the future for sure. And the roundtables, obviously, because the roundtables are fun. And like I said, get that studio back up and going. And who knows, there might be even more fun stuff in the future we haven't even thought about yet. But that's just what it is for right now.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. Like, I hope to see y'all channel grow, because I know you guys are like getting close to like the 1,000 mark. So I know you guys are excited about that.
We're treading water. We're trying.
I wasn't trying to cut you out there, Angelo. But like, in the magic number, for those who are watching who don't realize, the magic number to just start not only getting monetized, but also just start getting recommended more in the algorithm is 1,000 subscribers, and then depending on you do viewer minutes or watched hours or whatever, there's a threshold for that too.
Right.
And we're getting there. And what's the thing that I have to keep reminding myself is, like, there's two sides of it. Like, I don't know what your story was, Angelo, but I don't know how long it took you to get to 1,000. Like,
it took, man, like, I remember just getting my first 100. So I'll tell a quick story really quick. But like, I remember when I first started the channel, it was in 2015. Like, I was just doing unboxing and like review videos on just products, like just home products, really anything like somebody would buy. I would even do vacuums, and I was just like, man, this is getting views. Like, wow, like, this is crazy. And the thing was, I didn't realize at the time, like, if I had kept going, I was in school still. So I was like trying to do schoolwork and still trying to like figure out how to edit. I was using like Movie Maker at the time. It was a whole thing. It took forever to edit a video back then, because I didn't know what I was doing. And now, though, that I focus on it more, like, fast forward to 2018, I graduated high school in 2017. And I was like, okay, I want to try taking this seriously. And that's kind of how it started growing more. But I probably could have been at 1,000 subs if I really tried harder back then. But it's all the time. So it all worked out, though, either way.
Yeah. And I was going to say, with the two ends of the extreme, it's like, there's people that we know who's it took them, a year or maybe even longer to get to 1,000, and then there's people like Jablinski Games that gets 1 million subscribers in 2 days. So it's like, but what I've been told from a lot of enthusiast friends and buddies that we've met is that our trajectory is looking pretty good. So I mean, I have hope in that, and I kind of just remind myself all the time. I'm like, we're stuck at 700 or whatever, but
it's hard not to look at the analytics, man. So
yeah, the analytics are fun, but I enjoy looking at the analytics almost as much as I like looking at the comments. And I know you're not supposed to look at the comments. Number one rule of the internet: don't read the comments. But I still think it's fun. I mean, I'm pretty thick-skinned, so I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, now for the comments, it's just like, I try to respond to the people who are actually intrigued in the video rather than just someone randomly commenting on the video. Usually you have those spam bots on there out of nowhere. So, All right, so what would be your like? What is the story that you guys have from amusement park that you can remember, like a favorite memory from amusement park? And I guess like John or whoever wants to go first, you can.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Wow, a favorite
Ambassador.
moment from an
You go
amusement park.
first. I need time for this.
Well, yeah,
Favorite moment.
I'll give you two. I'll give you
Okay.
like favorite like weird moment and then like favorite like positive moment.
Hmm.
So I think, yeah, start with the weird, end with the good. Okay, here
Okay.
we go. I think one of the weirdest moments that I had kind of was going back to how I used to, I actually, I started getting really sick on rides. And like, I
Oh
actually now have to
wow.
prepare myself to ride them. It's kind of
Oh man.
like the bane of being a coaster enthusiast is that, I get like vertigo or something when I ride
Oh
rides and I get
man.
really dizzy, especially with the
Wow.
positive G, intent.
Yeah.
So before I knew this was happening to me, because I could ride roller coasters all day, but then it was like I passed a certain age. I won't say that age, but it just started happening. So I rode Tatsu here at Six Flags Magic Mountain, which
Hmm.
is the tallest
Right.
and
Super
largest
intense. Yeah.
flying coaster. And the pretzel loop is just bonkers.
Yeah.
It is the most bonkers element. I can even argue it against X2 sometimes. Like it's
Mm.
a crazy element. So I'm riding it with my I don't know if we were married. I think I was just dating. I think I was just dating my wife at the time. We were dating, and then I met her younger sister, and so it's like my first time kind of meeting them. And we
Hmm.
rode it, and I get off that thing, and I'm like I just start sweating. I just start sweating,
Wow.
and so I go in the exit, kind of by the photo booth. They have a where you can get your photo or whatever. There's like this little corner, and I just go sit in the corner, and I was sweating so much.
Wow.
No joke, it looked like I had jumped into a swimming pool. My clothes
Oh
were
my
soaked,
God.
my hair was soaked, and my wife, I think it was my girlfriend, but my wife she was like, "You're gonna be okay." I'm like, "You guys go ride some other rides. I'm just gonna chill here for a little bit." How embarrassing meeting her family, And then I'm
Man.
there. I was probably there for close to 40 minutes.
Mm.
And I couldn't open my eyes because if I opened my eyes, the world just kind of started to like
Whoa,
spin.
yeah, you definitely had vertigo. Oh
Dude, it
my
was crazy. And like this like employee comes up to me, he's like, "You all right, bro?" And I was like, "I don't even know what's going on." But that was probably the worst experience. But then I realized what was happening. So now I can
Yeah.
prepare myself. I take some like motion sickness pills before I
Hmm.
go to parks, and I stay hydrated. And I
Yeah.
learned I have a lot of airline pilots that are in my family.
Oh, okay.
They
Nice.
taught me like these maneuvers that they do for zero G moves
Hmm.
in or positive G moves
Yeah.
in planes. It's called the hook maneuver. It's like you squeeze your butt and you like
Oh
squeeze your
wow.
leg, and then you tense up your neck. You look really weird when riding. You're like, but what it does is it prevents the blood from leaving
Yeah,
your,
that's
and
smart.
it works. I mean, John's been with me on a coaster while I'm doing. I'm like,
This guy.
But I'll tell you what, though,
I'll be dying laughing when I look over.
at least I can entertain people around me, but it makes it so I don't ruin my day. Now, a positive moment that I had at a theme park was, I think it was probably last year. We had a whole bunch of enthusiasts that just kind of randomly met up on one day at Magic Mountain.
Mm,
We had Taylor Bybee from Coaster Studios there. We had
nice.
Dylan from Theme Park from Theme Park Obsession that was there. Drew from Parks Bros.
Man.
Who else was there, John? You remember that day? It was like a whole bunch of
OVS.
enthusiasts. Oh yeah, OVC was there. Ohio Valley Coasters.
OVC. Sorry.
We were all there, and we were just all
Remember
hanging
who
out.
else.
I think Mechanical Amusements Maverick was
Hmm.
there.
Yeah.
Man, that's a lot.
Analog thrills.
Analog Thrills was there from Instagram. And it just a lot of people were there, and we were all just hanging out. We were all just riding rides, and it was like,
We're all just getting stopped every like 10 seconds for someone to take a picture with
Man.
Taylor. Like,
yeah, and it was, but I mean, beyond that, it was just a lot of fun because, here we are, a bunch of coaster geeks, but yet, we were just having a good time, and I think that's probably what it's all about. That's what I love about this community. It's like this community doesn't care about where you're from or what political views you have or whatever.
Hmm.
It's just all about having a good time together, and
Right. It's just like we just want to ride coasters. Like that's really it. So
yeah, and I think that's what it was for me that day. So that's going to say that was probably one of my most positive moments. It just happened this
nice.
last year. Yeah. What about you, John?
I'll piggyback off of that one. And also a similar time to that when I was in high school and we had our grad night at Disneyland.
Oh,
And, you know, it was a similar situation. Yeah, I had a lot of enthusiasts, or I should say a few enthusiast friends that were there from either my high school or like there was like 2 other high schools that were there at the time. But, you know, it was like maybe 3 high schools, all of Disneyland to yourself at night, like open late.
Wow.
And I'm there with all my friends, not just enthusiasts, but literally all my friends, girlfriends, like everything. So it was just like killer time. And I think that's probably the best time I've had at a theme park, I would say.
That's what also is what theme parks are all about. You know, that's why, you know, back to your earlier question, Angelo, about, you know, getting back to the parks. I think there's that element as well. You know, there's that pent up thing for people to get out, but I also think there's that element of, you know, that getting that adrenaline rush and just having those smile on your face from having a good time at a theme park that you share even with strangers. Yeah. I mean, how many times have you sat as a single rider? I was
about to say,
somebody,
like,
you don't even know them, but after the ride, you're like hugging. You know what I mean? It's like
you meet so many enthusiasts just out of random, and like they may not even be enthusiasts, they just are just there to have a good time themselves. And it's just like sometimes being a single rider is so fun because you just meet all these different people. You're just like, man, this is crazy. So
you'll meet a person and they won't even know they're an enthusiast until you have the conversation with them, and then they realize they're an enthusiast talking to you. You know,
because they start
dropping. Say, what's your number or what's your Instagram? And then they're like hitting you up. Hey, you're gonna be at the park? Like I'll get a text from these people like 2 weeks later. Hey, you gonna be at the park? You're fully in now.
Some like lingo or some like terminology. Like, you know, the next thing you hear them say, well, you know, RMC. They're like, well, what did you just say over there? You know what I mean? Or But yeah, I mean, you know, and that's why, you know, I'm super stoked to have met you as well, Angelo. Thank you so much for having us on your show.
No problem.
But, like, you know, we're on, you know, either ends of the coast here of the United States, but, you know, it's fun. Like, we could just sit back and chat for a long time. And, you know, I definitely know that when we do meet up, I think we'll just have a great time. You know, it's like we're just gonna have a good time for sure.
Hopefully I can get out to Cali whenever. Hopefully it can be this year. I know
book your ticket now.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll see.
Book it now.
I gotta figure
we're opening soon.
I'm trying to
say by mid-July, no later.
I know you have to make a reservation and everything. It's like, we'll see.
That's difficult. Yeah, that's gonna make it difficult to travel places.
I'll tell you what, I've got an inflatable air mattress with your name on it. So
all right. Well, where can they find you guys on social media? What's all that?
Well, as far as YouTube, check out Theme Park ERT. That's E like exclusive and R like ride and T like time. But again, like I said before, it stands for all sorts of things. And then John is the Instagram guru.
Yeah, Theme Park ERT Instagram.
We have a Facebook as well.
Oh, you good? Nice.
But haven't really started it up too much.
Do you guys have any merch or anything or what?
We don't. We're working on it. We have a few designs. I mean, we have these one-offs.
Nice.
Those one-offs. I mean, if someone wants to buy this one-off, I mean, I'll take the money. I don't care. I'm gonna have something. But now we're working on some design, so keep an eye open for that. We've got some kind of cool ideas.
We're gonna have some cologne coming out soon.
Oh my!
Yeah, we're gonna have some eau de toilette.
Speaking of colognes, guys, if this video doesn't come out before a video drops, but we just finished filming some with a friend of mine. You'll see it soon. I want to say thank you guys for being on the podcast. It was much appreciated. Be sure to check out my episode on their podcast as well.
Yeah, it's live now. Yeah.
Yep, you can check it out. I will leave all of their social media and everything in the link description below. Thank you all so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. Remember to enable post notifications to stay up to date with everything that's happening on the channel. Until next time, you guys. Peace out.